Good evening, Sheep Meadow. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. You are here to see one of the great comedic stand-ups of all time. I didn't write this. Okay. You may know her from TikTok. She's got 33,000 followers after her Karen video went viral. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Miss Olivia Medley.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. We love a beautiful tree as our backstage. Thank you guys so much for coming. Welcome to Potty Talk. I never thought in a million years that I'd be doing stand-up in a park, like in September, but here we are, and thank you guys so much for being here. It means a lot. Obviously the last year has been crazy, but just recently, about 2 months ago, I moved in with my boyfriend, and it's been, our technical director, CJ. It's been really great. Honestly, it's been probably the best decision I've made of 2020, but I guess, because there's been so much change that's been happening in this past year, my anxiety has been super triggered. And so I've found myself having moments of glee and bliss sitting on the couch, and then all of a sudden I get a little knock on my door, and it's Miss Anxiety, and she'll come in. Oh my God, hi Olivia. How are you? Hi, it's been a minute. You were looking really happy, so I just wanted to stop by. So here's the thing. I know that you're in a really happy and committed relationship, and you're a super monogamous person, and you know that you want to be with the person that you're with, but I just wanted you to ponder a few things for a second. So what if actually your soulmate is actually a butch lesbian? I know that you've never been attracted to women and female body parts scare you, but I just wanted you to consider all of your options, okay? Also, I have a little bone to pick with you because I'm kind of bothered by the fact that you take Lexapro now because it really hurts our relationship, and I feel like I can't connect with you anymore, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm always here for you, especially in your happiest moments when you're trying to fall asleep or when you feel like you've figured everything out. I'll just be right back here to give you some love, okay? Okay, love you so much. XO, okay, bye. Okay, bye. Don't take your Lexapro anymore. Okay, love you, bye. So 2020, it's been a year. Particularly for me, it's been a year of discovering some sexual things, my sexuality. I only just recently lost my virginity just over a year ago. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, obviously, I'm 25, so I was one of the very last people of my group of friends for this to happen to. And so for the longest time, it was my virginity was this badge of honor that I wore. It was kind of the one thing that made me really cool. You see me, I'm a white girl with blonde hair who is just as white as they come. And I feel my virginity was the closest thing that I ever had to street cred, even the guys at the bodega knew about my lack of boning. It was just word on the street, Olivia's a virgin. It was people used to line up at my door, or I guess I should say my pants, to get a view of this clean, never been touched virgin vagina. It's people were trying to choreograph a musical looking at it ooh, what's that? It's pure, never been touched. Fosse would have had a field day with all those little dances happening. So I lose my virginity, and it happens, and I all of a sudden kind of feel like I'm in high school again, because it's kind of taboo, you don't really want to talk about it, and then the people that you do tell, they don't really believe you. A couple weeks later, I was at dinner with a bunch of my friends, and the conversation of sex comes up always, and they started talking about different sexual things, and I was oh yeah, that's really tough, that really hurts. And they were oh my God, Olivia, you're so cute when you try to relate to sex stuff. You being a virgin is the best thing about you. So I'm proud to announce that losing my virginity is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I've always kind of been a late bloomer, though. I was the last person to lose a tooth in my first grade class. I didn't have my first kiss until I was almost 16. So as you can imagine, when firsts happened to me, because I'm the last one to get to it, I've had a lot of time to kind of overthink and rethink and anticipate how these monumental moments are going to happen to me. And it kind of ends up just ruining the moment in the end. So for example, I'll do my first kiss. I want to set the scene. It is fall of 2010 at homecoming in a suburban high school in Georgia. Yes, got some Georgia friends out here. North Springs Charter High School, what up? I'm sitting on a graffitied ramp leading up to our high school that's also covered in graffiti. I'm wearing a necklace from Claire's. I have braces. And my very sexy, but turned out to be very gay boyfriend is preparing to lean in and give me my first kiss. And he's so sweet. He had like prepared for the moment for so well. And he's like leaning in and I go, just do it already. And so then he does, and then the moment's completely ruined. So then 2 years later, I have a new, equally sexy, only slightly less gay boyfriend. And this time, I am preparing to give my very first hand job. Now I need to preface a few things. I was scared of penises. I had never seen one in my life, and I wasn't about to see one again to perform this act. So what I do is I turn my head, I close my eyes, I stick out my hand, and I go, just do it already! Now, I should say that he was still clothed and he was not hard. So that kind of made that a little bit difficult. So finally, as I'm sure you all can imagine, losing my virginity had a very similar kind of situation happen to it. So we're sitting here, we're having a nice steak dinner on our anniversary trip, and all of a sudden I just feel like this bubbling happening. And this like excitement and this like, I was like, I think I'm ready and this needs to happen right now. So I'm like medium rare bite and I drop my fork and I say, let's just do it already. So we run from the table, we go upstairs, we have sex, I cry because A, it hurts, and B, I lost the one cool thing about me, being a virgin. So, I remember every single boyfriend that I've ever had. In first grade, his name was Matt Danielic, and one day I walked into school and I pronounced publicly in front of the entire class that I was in love with Matt. Now, he had no other option but to then be my boyfriend, so it worked out great. In fourth grade and fifth grade, their names were Aiden and Ryan. The story was very similar with both of them. I cornered them into the side of the classroom and forced them to be my boyfriend. So that worked out really well, but my first real boyfriend was in the 8th grade, and his name was Chase, and I was in love with him. He was in my acting troupe, and he was the only one that wasn't questionably gay, so obviously every single girl in the acting troupe was also in love with him. However, I wanted to be edgy, so I refused to be in love with him until I got my very first period, and then that was all over with, and I was like, edginess is overrated, I'm in love with Chase. So, like many middle school relationships began, ours started via text message. Now, this was back in the days pre-iPhone. This is 2008, guys. Pre-iPhone, back when texting had limits. So when you were texting a lot of, somebody all the time, that was a big deal. So this was pure romance. So I'll never forget the fateful day, September 19th, 2008. 12 years and 1 day ago. He texted me, will, W-I-L, 1L, you, the letter U, go out with me. And obviously I replied with a very sexy and elusive, yeah. So that's it. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. I call my best friend, who just happened to know his Facebook password, so she came over to my house. We logged into his Facebook. We took a flip phone picture of us in a play together and made it his profile picture. Our romance lasted for 2 months. There was one handhold. There was a couple of I love you texts exchanged and a couple games of footsie. So it was very, very 14. Now, on our 2-month anniversary, I'm sitting down watching an episode of Gossip Girl, and I'm getting a phone call from Chase. Now, obviously, my thought is, well, it's our 2-month anniversary. He's calling to tell me he's never loved anybody more than me. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, hello? And he goes, I think we need to be friends. And I'm like, yeah, obviously fine, whatever. Fun fact, he had the girl that he was going to ask to be his girlfriend on the other line, who was just the most recent Anna in Frozen. So clearly, you know. Anyway, so then I start crying. I grab a steak knife and I run upstairs. I turn on I Will Survive and I puncture the smiley face balloon that he gave me for my birthday with the steak knife. True story. I puncture it. I post a Facebook status that says, "Depression hurts way down deep." And that tells you all you need to know about me. But yeah, they say that you learn the most from your first breakup, and I really think that's true. I think what I learned is that my control freakism is super valid, and the only way to avoid heartbreak is if you force somebody to be your boyfriend. So that's why I take anxiety medication, everyone. Yeah. Now, my life's goal has always been to be the most special standout person in the room. Like, it is my goal to always find a way to be someone that people watch and look at and want to talk about in like the best way possible. Now, I did find that thing, but my idea of uniqueness certainly did not include my vagina. I have a very problematic vagina. I have a condition called vaginismus. For all you vagina havers out there, imagine doing a Kegel involuntarily anytime you try to stick something up there, okay? For all my scrotum strutters in the audience, just imagine instant blue balls anytime you try to penetrate anything. Just instant blue balls. That's vaginismus. What vaginismus is the involuntary, losing the wrong words, the involuntary like pulsing of the pelvic floor and tightening of the pelvic floor. So it causes extreme kind of pain with any sort of insertion. So that's vaginismus in a nutshell. You really don't want to know more. So about a year ago, I kind of self-diagnosed myself with vaginismus. I realized that, hey, this might be something that I have. And so I was referred to by my regular therapist, love you, Kira, to a sex therapist by the name of Jennifer. Now, let me give you a little lowdown of Jennifer, okay? Jennifer is a 5'10" lesbian pastor who wears 1950s styles glasses and hosts our remote Zoom sessions from the front seat of her Subaru. I am not kidding. Yeah. Now, Jennifer has been super great, and it's been really interesting for me to kind of explore all these sides of myself. Her most commonly used words are, you know, lube, orgasm, and Jesus. And she often says all three of these words in the same sentence. Yeah, she tells me that if I continue to do my homework and have sexual exploration, that one day sex won't feel like shoving a chainsaw up my hoo-ha. Now, sexual exploration, which I just mentioned, in case you all are wondering, so sexual exploration, it's masturbation, okay? Now, I have an interesting relationship with masturbation. I was raised to believe that it was not okay whatsoever, and on top of that, girls never masturbated. That was not okay. Like, I'm sure some of my ladies out there remember the first time you went to pee and you wiped and you felt a little something else aside from the wetness getting on the toilet paper, right? So the first time that happened to me, I panicked and went to confession. So that'll tell you my relationship with masturbation. So imagine my surprise when Jennifer, my lovely sex therapist, informs me that there is a sex shop in the Lower East Side called Babes in Toyland, and that there is a life-size dildo down there that I will be needing to purchase to assist me with my vaginismus homework. So obviously I was not going to do that. So instead I forced my boyfriend to buy it for me. And if you ever have seen those advertisements for Adam and Eve, you know, that play late at night during like the George Lopez show, really great products. So I would recommend trying that out. So yeah, I got this giant life-size silicone dildo, and I have to get to work. Obviously, I'm terrified and feel very uncomfortable. So I often would do certain things to kind of help ease the moment and make me feel a little bit more comfortable while I'm masturbating. So I'm just gonna state a list of things, like in no particular order, of things that I would watch or listen to while I was, you know, using this life-size silicone dildo. Again, in no particular order. TLC's least popular show, America's Greatest Cheapskates. Jeopardy. Love that final Jeopardy. It really helps get you wiggled in there. The Bet On It music video on repeat, just over and over and over. The Real Housewives franchise, particularly New York City, particularly season 6, that drama in Montana just really helps distract you. And then I also really like to just listen to The Sound of Music. And no, I don't mean like the sound of sexy music. I literally mean like Julie Andrews singing Do Re Mi. So, I'll watch, a person on America's Biggest Cheapskates use a used coffee filter for toilet paper. Okay, like, I can stick a finger in or two. I'll see Zac Efron's reflection in the lake. Like, I'm turning on the vibrator. And then, at the climax of 16 going on 17, when Rolf kisses Liesel and she screams, "Wee!" I am shoving that dildo in. Yeah. Man. My family and I, we've always had this weird obsession with the Duggar family. Like the one with 19 kids and counting. All their names start with the letter J. The oldest son was a pedophile and molested all his sisters. Yes, that Duggar family. Now, ever since I've been diagnosed with vaginismus, there's one particular aspect of the Duggar family that I have become most fascinated with. And that is the mom, Michelle Duggar's vagina, okay? I am so jealous. I spend hundreds of dollars to go to sex therapy every single week to loosen up mine, when this bitch, Jim Bob, just sticks it in and it slides right out and she's pregnant. I mean, seriously. She's so loose that she probably can just have her adult daughters stick their head up there to check on the baby. She's probably fully dilated 10 centimeters at all time. Labor doesn't even hurt. And I'm jealous because she probably doesn't have to get up in the middle of the night to pee. You know why? Because she has to wear a diaper. Like, there's no way she can go through her life not wearing a diaper. Now, I would wear a diaper to bed if it was socially acceptable, because the older I get, the more times I have to get up in the middle of the night to pee. So if I was Michelle Duggar and I could just wear a diaper and no one cared, like, I totally would. Also, she probably never has to change her diaper because she has so many children, so they just do it all for her. Also, I've always been very fascinated by the fact that Michelle is always so calm. Like, her parenting is very, like, creepily calm. Like, she never raises her voice. She's always, like, very, her temperament is very easy. But I was starting to think about that. I was like, well, she can't raise her voice. Like, if she starts to get angry, like, her innards will become her outwards. She's like constantly like, when you really have to poop and you're like kind of prairie dogging it, it's right on the edge and you're like waddling, like that's her daily with just trying to keep her parts in. Like, if she raises her voice, she might have a vagina lip slip, and then that would be a disaster. So really, Michelle Duggar is just a lucky, saggy bitch. So for my last story tonight, I want to talk about plungers. Now, I don't know if you guys were ever taught how to use one, but that's kind of like the weird thing is, like, they're a common household item, but you don't ever see people using them because obviously they're used to take care of shit. So, like, I'm very much a learn by example person. Like, you grow up, you see your mom mopping the floor, your dad doing the dishes, whatsoever. Like, that's kind of how you learn to do things as a kid. Well, obviously, I never saw somebody plunging a toilet, so I never learned how to do that. And I thought, it really can't be that hard, like, not a big deal. I was wrong about that, for sure. A couple weeks ago, I was traveling with my boyfriend to a cabin in the middle of the woods in central Pennsylvania to visit his best friend's wife, and their daughter. And I was a little nervous because I'm not much of an outdoorsy person. I knew there wouldn't be AC. There probably wasn't a lot of other modern technology there. Like, I was just a little nervous, right? So you get a little blocked up. So I get there and have a few glasses of wine, start to calm down. We're all sitting down to play a game of cards. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta go now. I gotta go. So I excuse myself and I go to the bathroom, and I'm sure I know what you all are thinking. You're probably thinking, you have a big old shit, you clog the toilet, it's a disaster, blah, blah, blah. That's actually not what happened at all. I had a like perfectly normal, maybe less than average sized poop. Like it was very dainty. Like you would think I'm like Princess Kate with how little, like it was very dainty and cute and sweet. So I'm like, okay, awesome. Like can't wait to go back and join this game. Stand up, I flush. And you know how like sometimes when you flush and there's an issue with the plumbing, how like it does a little spinny thing and then slowly it starts to slow down and then you just see that one piece of toilet paper like spin round and round, kind of like one of those Chinese New Year dragons, you know, just going like round and round and round, and then it just stops. So it doesn't flush. Now my immediate reaction is, okay, stay calm, like no worries, like my mom always taught me, I don't know why, but apparently sometimes if it's an older plumbing system, if you turn on the sink, it'll like help the water drip down. I don't know, I turned on the sink, nothing happened. So I was like, okay, cool, stay calm. Like there's a plunger in here. Like you can figure out how to use a plunger, like no big deal. So I take this plunger and I do a couple plunges and nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. We still got a little Chinese dragon going around. Like it's fully not flushing. So my next thought is, how can I get out of this bathroom, get out of this cabin, get in CJ's car, and drive away without any of them knowing? But unfortunately, that was not an option because there was no window in the bathroom. And yes, I know what you all are thinking, like, just text CJ, bring your phone. There's no fucking service because we're in the middle of the mountains in central Pennsylvania. So I'm stuck in this bathroom and I don't know what to do. Now, remember, we were playing a game of cards, so everyone knows that I went to the bathroom. So after about another minute or so, I hear a little on the door. This time it wasn't my anxiety. It was my boyfriend's best friend's wife. She was like, hey, Olivia, like, is everything okay in there? Now, as an attention whore, it has been my life's goal to have someone check in on me if it's been a while since I've emerged, right? Like, that attention is like gold. Everybody wants that. This is not the kind of attention that I wanted. So I just stand there and I'm just like, I have to admit defeat. So I opened the door and I said, hi, Allie. So the toilet won't flush. And my poop's in there. So she walks in and she goes, yeah, the plumbing in here sucks. Yeah, because we're in the middle of mountains of fucking central Pennsylvania. Okay, so she takes the plunger. And in the meantime, like, we've got a whole audience. Like, everyone else in the house has, like, come in to observe what's happening. She sits there, she takes the plunger, she plunges it a few times, down it goes, no problem. The daughter comes in, she goes, oh yeah, like, have you never plunged a toilet before? You just have to press it really hard a couple of times. I was like, no, I've never used a plunger before. And then this woman, Allie, who came in to take care of my problem, who I have barely spoken any words to, plunges my business down the toilet, puts the plunger down. I'm like, I'm so sorry. She turns to me and she just goes, shit happens. Thank you guys so much for coming. It means so much. If you enjoyed yourself and you want to show a little love, I have Venmo, but no worries. You guys rock. Thank you so much for coming out, and have a great rest of your Sunday.
Give it up for Olivia Medley, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Follow her on TikTok, Instagram, and you can follow her behind the tree backstage to get an autograph. Thank you. Bye-bye.